one from the report? That was a good one.
There's two that are on the outside.
Hey, Matt.
Awesome.
Did you go? Just relaxed here.
Yeah, we went to the west side. We get a house on the outside of the Traverse City. Go into town.
Yeah, that can be an adventure all its own.
Yep. Yep, it was good.
Relish going over players.
Just talking to him.
So you read through that. Oh, it's on the far side there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Cherry Festival week. Well, yeah, next round is a trip.
Don't forget your microphone and December 9th.
So was I getting yelled at again?
Right. Yeah, okay, that's awesome.
I don't have that much support.
Yes. Scrapper. I can actually tell you. I might have words.
Okay, it's 5:30. I will call the meeting to order and ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, give you a couple extra minutes to review our consent agenda items.
Quick question for D and H, Anna. Are we able to separate those, vote for them separately, or does that have to be all together? Do I have to amend the agenda for that, or is that not necessary?
D and H in tonight's agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that when we go down to the
Go
next
through
things.
them?
For Yeah, for the
Okay.
approving the, well, just when we get down to the next item, the approving the meeting agenda.
Okay.
But just for the consent agenda items here, I'll just
Okay.
wrap up here. Anyone need more time with the consent agenda items? Okay, all right, then we'll move on to the next item, which is approving the meeting agenda for this evening. And then, Monica, what were you?
So I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented with D and H all separate individual votes.
Support. Any further conversation? Okay, well, so we'll separate item D all into separate votes, and H will also all go into separate votes. Motion made by Monica, support by Sarah Fritz. Anything further? All in favor, show of hands, please. Okay, thank you. That's all 6 yeses. Okay. We would need a motion to elect Superintendent Rabideau as temporary chairperson until the election of the board president.
So moved.
Support.
Anything further? Okay, all in favor, show of hands. Okay, thank you. It's 6 yeses. Okay. Now it's you.
Okay, I will then open the floor for nominations of the office of President of the Alpena Public Schools Board of Education.
I would like to nominate Eric Lawson.
I would like to nominate Anna Meinhardt.
Eric, do you, second, do you accept Eric?
Yes, I will accept.
I'm actually, thank you, Sarah, but I'm going to decline. I've served as president for 2.5 years, and it's been very enjoyable. I just think over like the past 6-7 months, the board's is shifting in a direction that's more challenging for me, and items that have come up that I don't necessarily support. And I believe that the role of the board president and spokesperson should would be better served by someone in the majority who feels differently. It's just been added stress and time for me behind the scenes when I have to, I guess, work on items that the board wishes to have worked on that I don't personally support, like having a new attorney, like the school, the bid that we passed that was outside of the state code, discussing, having policies that potentially ACLU were getting involved with. It just, it added a lot for me, and I feel like someone else who's more in favor of those directions would be better served in this position. So thank you, but declining. Anyone else? Oh, I guess you're running the show, Sarah.
Any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, I think we still do need to do ballot. So you have in front of you the ballots. If you'd write your name at the top, and then Eric Lawson is the candidate, and cast your vote either for Eric or an alternative. And then I'll read the ballots. So when you're done, pass them this way.
Sorry. Thank you.
So why don't I, you want to record that, since I don't know how to record on there. All right, so then we have a variety of check and no check. So I guess I'll just confirm as I go around. For president, Sarah Fritz voted no.
Nope.
For president, Eric Lawson voted for Eric Lawson. AJ, you didn't check it, but you're voting for Eric Lawson. AJ voted for Eric Lawson. Monica voted for Eric Lawson. Eric Hansen voted for Eric Lawson. And that's a no.
Correct.
Anna Meinhardt did not vote for Eric Lawson. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 votes for Eric and 2 no votes. All right. So with that, Eric Lawson is elected the president. So come on over. Congratulations.
I tried not to make too much.
I'll give these to you, so you'll need to save those.
You want this policy for the... Perfect. Thank you, sir. Like musical chairs. Thank you.
I don't know if I need to officially turn it over to you, but the next order of business is the newly elected president will open the floor for nominations for the offices of vice president and treasurer.
Okay. We'll begin with the office of vice president, and we'll entertain nominations for that position.
I'd like to see Eric Henson stay.
I really appreciate the offer. Unfortunately, I have fairly significant time requirements of me in other places, and I unfortunately cannot dedicate the time that's necessary to really do this justice. And so unfortunately, I will not accept the nomination, but thank you.
I'd like to nominate AJ for vice president.
what are the time constraints that you are referring to, Eric? How much extra time? I don't know what you and Anna have to do. I mean, I know Anna puts in way more time, but.
Yeah, no, honestly, Anna put in the bulk of the time. It's substantial hours for what she puts in, so it's nothing in that at all. Mostly for the vice president, you take a look over the agenda, ensure that that's in line with the way it should be, and occasionally on some issues that come up, whether it be legal or disciplinary or staff, there's extra meetings that you have to attend from time to time, so it's really impossible to put a time on that because it changes based on what's going on in the district.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but that's the best I have.
And I would say it probably depends too on Dr. Lawson and how much he wants or needs to lean into you. I utilized Eric quite a bit. He was a great help, so probably put more on him than necessary, but.
Well, that's one thing we can talk about as well. I'm not sure we have a well-defined policy about executive committee specifically. I don't remember seeing one. That's a possibility that we could define what that looks like, or we can continue to do it sort of, ad hoc as it comes up. But
Well, I guess I will accept, but I can always throw in the towel and say, we need to revote this.
you don't seem like that kind of guy, but okay.
Well, I would give it my best first, but if I'm, for some reason, not fulfilling what the board needs.
Okay, so we have a duly accepted nomination. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Going once, going twice. Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll declare nominations closed, and we'll continue to the ballot for vice president. You might have.
Thanks, Monica.
Right. Oh. Very, very quick. Let's see here. Okay, so that is... One of those you handed me, Anna, was that your vote? Is that...
I think
Yeah.
If it says my name on it, it's my vote.
Oh,
I checked it.
this one, there's no name.
Did I not write my name on it?
Well,
I started filling out the one in front of you, did that one have my name on it? Just-
yeah, I'll hand these, or, oh yeah, there's yours. All right, where's this other one coming from?
That might have been no one.
It might have been on the pile, I guess, yeah, well, all right. And I don't think I have filled one out yet, which means I'm short one. Okay, do you want me to do this part as well? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's another one without. Okay, I don't know what that is. I have maybe just going this way so we can account for everyone. Sarah Fritz for AJ, no. Then Anna Martinhart, you have AJ as a yes. Then there's my vote, yes for AJ. Going around, Eric Hansen, that's a yes from you. And Monica, that's a yes for AJ and a yes from AJ. So I have all members accounted for. I don't know what this one is. It doesn't have a name.
Was that the one that was already sitting? I had started filling all of them
Oh,
out
maybe that's it.
before beforehand, but I didn't sign my name. I just wrote the.
Okay,
Did I just
that-
write the title at the
that
top?
must be it.
Yeah, the position. yeah.
That must be it. All right, so we have everyone accounted for, and AJ has sufficient votes to be our new vice president. Congratulations. And
I was really hoping you'd stay, Eric.
so I'll just reuse this one. All right, so now we can proceed to Office of the Treasurer. Are there any nominations for Treasurer?
Let's do Sarah Castaigne, because she's not here.
I'm not aware of anything in the policy saying you can't elect somebody in absentia. Except if she declines, then we would have to go back and do it again. But, all right, I have a nomination for Sarah Costain. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations for treasurer? And once again, any other nominations for treasurer? Hearing none, I'll declare nominations for treasurer closed. Please complete your ballots. Thank you. All right, going the other way around this time, I have Eric Hansen as a yes for Sarah Costain. Monica Dzinski, yes for Sarah Costain for treasurer. I have one.
Oh, did I not say? Yeah, that's my scroll.
A yes from AJ for Sarah. And going around this way then, I have a no for Sarah Costain from Anna, and a yes from Sarah Fritz for Sarah Costain. So Sarah Costain is our new duly elected treasurer, although if she doesn't show up today, somebody else will have to read the gifts. All right, very good. I believe that concludes this portion of our meeting, and I'll just leave these here for records. All right, then that brings us to our first opportunity for citizens to address the board, and I have this nice reminder that individuals addressing the board will please state their name, address, and/or your group affiliation. Share direct all comments to the board, not staff or other participants, not to make personal attacks against a school board member or a school district employee by name. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes of duration, and people will not speak more than once on the same topic unless all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. And this portion of the meeting will be limited to 30 minutes, but the time frame will be extended if necessary so that no one's right to address the board will be denied.
Hi, my name is Vicki Lindsay. I'm a retired APS teacher, current substitute teacher, and mother to Eric Lindsay. At what cost? I'm here today not just as a concerned community member, but as someone who is watching this board take action after action that raises a fundamental question. At what cost? First, you accepted a higher bid for asphalt over a lower one, an unnecessary expense of taxpayer dollars. At what cost? At the cost of fiscal responsibility and public trust. Then you voted down a rain garden, a project that was fully funded by grant monies, no cost to us, but full benefit for our students and environment. You rejected it. At what cost? at the cost of student opportunity, sustainability, and forward-thinking education. Next, this board has discussed instituting a bathroom policy that threatens the dignity and privacy of students. At what cost? At the cost of inclusion, legal liability, and the well-being of kids who already face enough challenges. You've also expressed a desire to centralize complaints about books, circumventing established policies, which are in place for a reason. At what cost? At the cost of professional procedure, transparency, and yes, intellectual freedom. You've added a second law firm, one with no experience in public education law, but aligned with certain personal and political beliefs. At what cost? At the cost of sound legal advice, credibility, and efficiency. And during the last workshop meeting, a comment was made during dress code discussions about providing as many burqas as you want, like a full burqa. That's not just offensive, it's disgraceful. At what cost? At the cost of respect, cultural sensitivity, and basic human decency. What will happen tonight? What decision will you make, and at what cost? These decisions, one after another, aren't just missteps, they are signals. They tell us who and what you prioritize, but again, I ask, at what cost? We are watching, we are keeping receipts, and we will continue to ask questions until it is answered not with words, but with responsible action.
Anybody else?
My name is Diana O'Connor, and I'm from Alpena. My comments to the board this evening are related to the addition of the Coleman Law Group to the APS payroll. It defies all reasoning to in any way justify this additional expense, but the justification becomes even more obscure and troublesome after a search into the ideologies of the Coleman Group. It is fair to say Coleman is not pro-public education. And in truth, a fairer statement would be they are anti-public school in education in that their legal efforts are aimed at undermining public schools and channeling public education resources elsewhere, thus diminishing and diluting the efficacy and reach of public schooling. We just hired an extremist law group that works to compromise public schools. What I'd like to point out is that by adding Coleman to the payroll, we are actually funding the anti-public school agenda this group has. Every dollar, every dime that is paid to them will be used to weaken and compromise public schools. This board's efforts should be to support, protect, and enrich public education, but unfortunately, the saboteurs on this board align with the Coleman agenda. Should this board plunge our school system into a lawsuit, we would be funneling hundreds of thousands of dollars to Coleman, if not millions. But even without the catastrophic financial burden of a lawsuit, which this board seems to be considering, just having Coleman on the payroll will flood money in that direction. The unfortunate truth is we have a group of 4 on this board who are in alignment with the ideologies of the Coleman Group. They have the same agenda. Picking this group was not random, it was very calculated. These 4 board members would love to channel our tax dollars in any fashion and in any amount to Coleman law. Therefore, I believe it is crucial the public be made aware of how much money we're paying this group. For instance, did we pay Coleman a retainer? If so, how much? Is it possible to have a monthly accounting of our school dollars going to this extremist group? How do we access this information? All of this should be made public. It's an atrocity. By the way, this is not a hyperbolic concern. We just hired an extremist law group for APS school system. Thank you.
I'm Barbie Mish, a resident of the city of Alpena, and I have grandchildren who attend Alpena Public Schools. I witnessed the rain garden, which was supported by a grant and designed by reputable architects, be voted down. I've watched the board promote a bathroom policy that was not recommended by ACLU and Troon Law, a law firm that specializes in educational law. I've watched the approval of a contract for Common Law, a law firm with a political agenda. A second law firm is not necessary and is a waste of our taxpayer dollars. I recently saw a recruitment ad for students to attend All Saints. It included the following testimonial: where kids get good grades, good friends, and have a solid shot at sainthood. The testimonial ended with, "We're open to all, but your kids will learn virtues and how not to be a jerk." Is this person inferring that children who attend Alpena Public Schools get bad grades, have bad friends, and are destined to eternal damnation? Is this person inferring that Alpena Public School children are learning to be jerks? I may have been able to scroll past this post if the post was not from someone other than a school board member. This screams conflict of interest. The board's conflict of interest in social media policy states postings to social media should be done in a manner sensitive to the board members' responsibilities and applicable district policies. I have to wonder why this person feels that way about students who attend Alpena Public Schools, a school system our governing board should be proud of. Maybe board members whose children don't attend Alpena Public Schools would better serve the All Saints Board. Board members should have skin in the game. We need to have Alpena Public School board members who believe in all students and provide direction to all students, even if they don't agree with student choices. At the workshop session last week, a board member offered to buy burqas for girls to wear if they come to school wearing inappropriate clothing. I agree that the dress code is important, but shaming and bullying students can only lead to mental health issues for our students. We do not know what type of clothing these students have, and we need to be sensitive to that. It's also disrespectful to the Muslim religion to suggest that. I applaud Romeo Berdash for taking students aside discreetly and for donating hoodies to students. The school board just had an educational session that addressed some of these concerns. Please learn from that session, and if your attitude is Alpena Public School students get bad grades, have bad friends, and are taught to be jerks, and if you have no skin in the game, maybe you should resign from the board.
Anybody else?
I'm Yvonne LaFave Johnson. I live in Alpena Township, and I'm a concerned taxpayer and the aunt of several APS students. First, I'd like to thank Anna Meinhardt for her service as the board president. Your service to benefit all our students and the community is greatly appreciated. I'm here tonight to urge you to renew Troon Law's annual contract and to decline to renew Common Legal Group's contract. I urge you to take these actions because expertise is not bias. Trying to force others to live by your personal religious or moral beliefs when you were elected to serve on a nonpartisan school board is biased. A law firm isn't supposed to tell you what you want to hear. Your general counsel isn't supposed to simply rubber stamp the extremist Project 2025 agenda that you're pushing and tell you that it's okay to target vulnerable students. We pay Troon to give you expert advice about what's legal and what isn't. We pay them so you don't take action that lands the school district in court, which will cost many more of our tax dollars at the expense of our students. We pay them to advise you so you operate within the law and with the best interest of all APS students and our community in mind. With Thrun, we have counsel from the premier law firm for school districts and municipalities in the state. They have nearly 80 years' experience in school law. So it makes sense for our district and for the community to renew their contract. Please do not waste our taxpayer dollars at the tune of $275 an hour for Coleman to help push a bathroom policy that violates state law, violates your own established policies against discrimination and harassment, and violates the rights of some students. During your May meeting, we were all appalled to hear that the math curriculum was 15 years old. So I'd like to suggest you spend time establishing a system to update all curriculum on a regular, scheduled basis and stop wasting your time on an extremist agenda that the community clearly does not support. Renew Thrun's contract, drop the potty policy nonsense, and get back to doing the business that the voters and the taxpayers elected you to do, which is serving all our students.
All right, seeing no further citizens rising for public comment at this time, we'll move along with our meeting. There will be another opportunity later for public comment as well. So this brings us to the approval of the consent agenda items, and the recommended motion is to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
I would offer that motion.
Second?
Okay. And by its very nature, we typically don't discuss the consent agenda. Just a reminder, if anyone ever wants anything pulled from the consent agenda, then we can discuss that particular item. So with that, I believe we can vote. Show of hands for support of the consent agenda items being approved. Any not in support? I think that was everybody. Thank you very much. Motion carried. That brings us to appointing a board secretary for fiscal year 25-26. Administrative recommendation is to appoint Summer Siegler as the board secretary for the 25-26 fiscal year.
I would also offer that motion.
Support.
All right. We have a motion with support. Any discussion? All right. Keep in mind, if anybody ever wants a roll call for any particular item, and I haven't already suggested it, just raise your hand and make that suggestion. At this time, all in favor of Summer Siegler as the board secretary, raise your hand. All right, I don't see any, I think that's unanimous. I don't see any no's. So, Summer, you're it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for not declining.
Whoa, was that even an option? Thank you so much. All right. That brings us to item C, MASB conferences, academies, workshops, and CBA classes. I do believe we have policy 0175.1.
Yeah, it's
Is that
in
correct?
the packet.
It's in the packet. All right. So the board is required to have approval when attending a conference or workshop outside the local ESD service area. The administrative recommendation is a motion to approve attendance of board members to MASB conferences, academies, workshops, and applicable CBA classes in Michigan.
Do we, to approve the policy, is that what you're asking for?
My understanding, correct me if I'm off base, Dave, is that the policy is already existing. This is just perhaps a yearly reaffirmation that we want to approve. So that way, I think people don't have to get an approval by the board every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move to approve policy 0175.1 for 2025-26 school year.
Is there support?
Support.
Okay. Any discussion?
I was just curious when the last time we updated some of these prices, in order to buy a lunch for $8.50 is going to be somewhat challenging in today's world.
We did it in the last year and a half.
I
Yeah.
thought we did, I thought we talked about it, because I
Yeah.
think it was like $7 or something.
Yep. Yeah. $9.75.
Oh. So, but that was probably done outside of this policy, because it looks like the last time this was revised was 2016.
That was when we updated the conference form itself,
Right, right.
so this probably should have been changed at the same time, but there was limits, if there's limits in the,
Yeah.
that for the board.
It says last revised August of 2020 at the top.
But, oh,
Adopted in 94 and then revised.
oh, last revised. Oh, yes, it does say that up there as well. That's interesting. But that's still longer ago than we're talking. So maybe we could put this on the agenda to just bring it up to date.
Yeah,
Point?
we can certainly update the policy. It is on the conference form, correct, Mary, with the right
Yes.
price? And is it in the
Okay.
AGs as well, or just the conference form?
I think it's in the AG as well.
Yeah, so we just need to clarify it in the policy.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll put this on an agenda, and we'll get that brought up to where it should be. All right, we still have a motion on the floor, and a second. Any further discussion? All right, I would say since this involves spending a little money, let's have a roll call for this one.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Meinhardt?
Aye.
Member Hanson?
Aye.
Member Dzinski?
No.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Lawson?
Aye. Motion carries, so that's taken care of. That brings us to our annual fiscal appointments. We are dividing these up into individual packets here. So number one, Troon Law Firm, PC of Lansing. I guess I would entertain a motion to make them, appoint them as a firm representing our district.
I would offer the motion to retain Thrun Law Firm of Lansing.
Second.
All right, discussion.
It's best practices every 3 to 5 years to do a comparison on these law firms, look at how much we're spending, look at other law firms also in Michigan. I did a quick search, AI search through all of our meeting minutes. Nothing is found from 2018. So the last 7 years, we've continued to vote for them, which I think it would be a good idea, since there are 3 other gold standard law firms in Michigan, to do a comparison and do our due diligence to look at what we are spending and do some comparisons on this. I mean, Miller Canfield has about 300 attorneys firm-wide that specialize in all different areas, certain ones in education. They have a breakdown of how many years of education they've done. Thrun Law, of course, Collins and Blaha, and the Clark Hill. All 4 of those are gold standard for Michigan educational law firms.
Thank you for that. Further discussion? All right, hearing none, I would say let's have a roll call on this question as well. The motion is to renew Troon for another year.
Member Meinhardt?
Aye.
Member Dzinski?
No.
Member Hanson?
Aye.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Lawson?
Aye. So that motion carries, but I think that you make a good point. Perhaps let's work that in to review and establish a review cycle. I think that would be a good move.
was
So we'll
kinda-
look at that again.
I
Yes.
was under the impression that that was the only one in Michigan.
What'd you say? Sorry. No, you're on. I can hear you.
I was under the impression that they were pretty much the only school firm in Michigan.
There are lots. Yeah.
Yep, thanks for digging, Monica. I would not have known how many there are.
I think from the various reviews of districts who use various firms, what I've noticed is that there are many, many districts that do use Troon, but it isn't the only one. So it might be very interesting to look at that question. All right, so then as we've discussed, an auxiliary group to put very particular questions perhaps to, the Common Law Group. I would entertain a motion to retain them. My understanding of the contract, I think it was in our packet, there is no retainer, but the fee is, I believe,
$275.
$275 per hour. Okay. And if anybody has any questions about the contract, I would think it would be in order to go ahead and discuss those at this point, if anybody has any questions or issues.
I guess we better,
Go ahead.
I move to retain the Coleman Law Group as an auxiliary law firm.
I'll second it.
Support. Any further discussion at this point? And Dave, I believe you're satisfied now with the contract?
Yeah, yep, I had a conversation with them 2 weeks ago and brought up some of those insignificant changes to the contract, and he agreed. So
So they're satisfied to your approval?
Yeah.
All right, very good. Further discussion? Yes.
I guess my question would be, how would the determination be made, who handles what and for what purpose? Because there's a little bit of gray area there, so I'm somewhat concerned about that.
Well, yeah, in the event that we put the same question to both firms, that would probably just have to come before the board, that particular question.
And what if one firm gives us one answer and another firm gives us the other answer?
That's why it would come to the board.
I know,
Yeah.
but,
And it would be discussed, debated, and voted on. I would think that would be an appropriate procedure. Dave, do you have any thoughts?
No, I have the same concerns of, I guess, just questions about how we pose questions, which questions we pose, and then what do we do when there is opposing points of view, or, just what do we do in general? So I think we need to clarify that. We received a letter from a community member about the Office of Civil Rights recent decision or action in Virginia. I'm guessing that that's going to be an issue that the board wants Coleman to weigh in on. My concern is I want to make sure I'm conveying the right message and question to Coleman and also back, because in the past, there's been misinterpretations, misunderstandings, those sorts of things that, create a rift here. So I just want to be very clear on the board's wish of ask the law firm this, specific, this is what we're working through, those kind of things, so that I get the right information that you're looking for.
Okay. Well, that's something I would think also that the two of us can make sure that we are, if not completely in agreement, at least we have an understanding. And that would, I would think, help that process along.
Yeah.
All right. Further discussion?
well, from my point of view, the only reason we're looking at this other law firm is because members of the board did not get the answer from Troon that they wanted on the bathroom policy. And that is the only reason that we're looking at another. When Troon said that our procedure is fine right now, with everything going on in the courts and everything being challenged, our procedure with our bathroom policy, it's not a policy, it's just a procedure, in the junior high and the high school is fine. But that was not agreeable to some board members, so then we went hunting for this other law firm to see if they'll give us the answer that members want. And that's just my point of view.
Thank you. Further discussion?
No, I think it is good to have a different law firm that specializes in a different area at no expense to us. No retainer is cheaper than Throon per hour as well. And I do think this is a good idea because Troon didn't even have Title IX in their recommendation. They did not even mention federal law at all on what they sent us. And that was the big question. So I don't know if they don't know. I don't know if they left it out. I don't know. So I think it would be good to have firms that do specialize in different areas. And when we do look at some of these other law firms too, I mean, Miller Canfield and this Clark Hill, I mean, they have firms, you know, different states, I mean, 300 and some, 300, I mean, maybe looking at that might be a good idea and where we wouldn't need Coleman. Just a thought.
Well, there's also the thing of how long did it take for them to respond to you?
It's been slow.
Yeah.
It's been challenging in getting a response. And, you know, that's from my understanding, there's two people, two lawyers on staff. So, again, I'm willing to try it and see, but if there's an emergency situation or an urgent matter, that could be a concern.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's proceed with a roll call.
Member Dzinski?
Aye.
Member Hanson?
No.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Fritz?
No.
Member Meinhardt?
No.
Member Lawson?
Aye. All right, I believe when it's a split vote, the motion fails. So that does not pass. Let's move along to the auditor, Straley, Lamp, and Krentz-Lein. It would be a motion to retain Straley, Lamp, and Krentz-Lein as our auditor.
I would make that motion.
And I would support that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's proceed with a roll call on that as well.
Member Hanson?
Aye.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Meinhardt?
Aye.
Member Dzinski?
Aye.
Member Lawson?
Aye. Motion carries. And that concludes our annual fiscal appointments. On to item E, investing school funds. We have a administrative recommendation to authorize the utilization of any investment type allowed by the revised school code and state laws for the purpose of investing school funds during the 25-26 fiscal year.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I think this could use a roll call as well.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Meinhardt?
Aye.
Member Dzinski?
Aye.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Lawson.
Aye. Motion carries. On to the next item, to designate depositories for school funds. The recommendation is a motion that the following financial institutions be assigned as depositories for funds for 25-26 fiscal year: Huntington Bank, Nicollet Bank, Alpena Alcona Area Credit Union, and the Michigan Liquid Asset Fund.
I'll make that motion. Support.
All right. Any discussion on that one?
These are all the same as in the past, correct? Thank you.
Yeah, my understanding, this is our just sort of annual housekeeping
Nothing changed.
for these sorts of items. Nothing new, I don't think. Discussion, going once, going twice? All right, hearing none, let's proceed with a roll call for that as well.
Member MacArthur,
Aye.
Member Fritz,
Sorry. Aye. Sorry.
Member Meinhardt,
Aye.
Member Dzinski,
Aye.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Lawson.
Aye, motion carries. Resolution for automated clearinghouse and electronic transactions. The administrative recommendation is that the board adopt the preamble and resolution authorizing automated clearinghouse arrangements and electronic transfers.
So moved.
Support.
Very good. Any discussion on this one?
Did we get that, or is that just, we don't have that in the packet for to have a resolution. Do we?
Yeah.
It's in there.
I'm sorry.
What page is
I-
that?
It's right in front of the high school association.
Yeah.
Yep, there
Got
it
it?
is.
Yeah.
That page stuck together. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Moving on swiftly.
Choked on my water.
So no discussion of this item, this resolution? Hearing no discussion, let's proceed with a roll call for that as well, since it's a resolution.
Member Fritz,
Aye.
Member Meinhardt,
Aye.
Member Dzinski,
Aye.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member MacArthur,
Aye.
Member Lawson.
Aye. Motion carried. All right. Item H, approval of district memberships for fiscal year 25-26. These we will break down into individual votes as well, beginning with the Alpena Chamber of Commerce. The recommendation is to approve the membership at $1,600 billed in January of each year.
I make that motion.
Support.
All right. Any discussion?
Have we been paying this partnership or partner level for how long at 1,600?
I'm not sure how long. It's been since I've gotten here.
Okay, just,
Yeah, the partnership level.
Okay.
I don't know if the price has gone up in those years, but
well, I'm just wondering, because there's other levels as well. There's a 250 and a 500, which, I mean, I do believe we need to be part of the Alpena Chamber of Commerce, but, you know, there are different levels to look at as well. I mean, we don't even know what we're going to be getting as far as funding goes. I mean, that is quite a bit of money, 1,600.
What's the, you have it pulled up, Monica?
Yeah, they have a business level at 250, then they have a sponsor level at 500, which I personally would probably go to that level, would be the one down, and then a partner level at 160, or 16, and then let me pull up the rest here, and then it goes higher from there. Leader level, 3,200 to 4,999, chairman level, 5,000 plus.
Dave, are the benefits, well, let me pause, I'm sorry. What are the difference in benefits there, Monica, and are they worth it
It
to you
looks
as a?
like, E-note sponsor 4 times per year. That's the same. Discounts on tickets to the annual dinner is in the partner level. Special rates to select educational opportunities and chamber events, that's also in the partner level. They're pretty similar. For our category.
Mary, do you have any insight? I'm just kind of curious. That's actually a legitimate question.
I've only used them for a couple of webinars, and I do know that we
Can you come up to the microphone?
I personally have only used them for a couple webinars, mostly with Lara for unemployment and things like that. The other thing that we use them for is the dinner for CTE and stuff like that. It's more of a relationship. I don't know where that level of sponsorship came in at. It's always been that since I've been here, so historically, that's what it's been.
We do host about 2 events a year, at least since I've been here, where either they've come to our facilities, most recently they came to the high school and had their, was that the breakfast or the lunch? I think it was the breakfast. Yeah, Good Morning Alpena. And then we are the focus of that program, so we get to share everything that's going on. And then we did another one over at Art in the Loft where we've hosted at the rink one time, so, that's beneficial. I don't know how you put a price on that, but when we are rolling out what we're doing and building partnerships with the community, it is part of our strategic plan. I would hate to lose those opportunities to, host and share our message. But it's billed in January, and we can certainly dig more deeply into what the benefits of the different levels are and see if we can change that and still receive those kind of benefits.
Could we maybe move it to the next workshop then, to look at it a little closer?
Yeah, I don't see why.
It was paid in January 25, so it's good through December of 25, so
Yep.
the change would be January 26.
Okay.
So as long as it makes it on a workshop anytime before then, we would be okay to
Yeah.
take another look.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a motion on the table?
Yeah.
So then we would need to move to table this discussion till next month?
Correct.
Well, yes, I think we would have to have probably a vote to withdraw the motion.
No, you can just move to table.
Or if you motion to table trumps the,
I believe so.
Yep.
Am I correct, Adrian?
Yep, you can move to table something anytime.
all right, well
That
then,
just trumps it.
then we would just come back to it. Yeah, that,
I
if
move
there's
to
consensus,
table.
that's the right way?
Yeah, I move to table the motion to our August workshop.
Okay,
Support.
all right. Further discussion of the motion to
No-
table?
No discussion on that one.
No discussion on that. All right. Well, then, let's have a show of hands for a motion to table till August. Any no votes? Motion carries. All right. That will come back a little bit later. Thank you very much. Then, Michigan Association of School Boards, $7,374 billed in July each year.
Actually, I think we're probably going to have similar questions on all of these. If, Dave, maybe you could kind of enlighten us what they actually pertain to. I know there's something we traditionally just vote on, however, to be good stewards. We'd like to know exactly what this entails.
Yeah, I think last year you did a good job of summarizing all of them, so hopefully it's still fresh. I know some of it was in your update too. but-
Yeah, so I included, so the Michigan Association membership provides access to attorneys at MASB, also all the training catalogs that are available, courses, things like that. There's probably some litigation coverage in there as well, and being a part of that, a membership for that. And then the legal trust fund, so the MASB is separate from then the legal trust fund, which does provide a bit of coverage there.
Was our training out of that 7,300, or was that extra.
It's in addition to it, yeah.
Okay, so we had to cut them another check for last 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, yep. But you have access to them through that membership.
How much was that?
$800, $900.
That was not fun enough for $800.
Well, isn't this kind of a duplicate then, if we're, lawyers and legal advice and?
So the legal trust fund is.
Microphone.
Thank you, Mary.
So the difference between the two, the association is like any other association, the fees you pay towards that. The legal trust fund is what it actually states, it's a trust fund, so it builds to reduce the cost in future years. So that's the difference between the two.
Could you repeat that, Mary?
For item
me?
number 3, she's kind of talking about
Yep, number 3.
So, you know what, a trust fund,
Yep.
right? So it's, you put money into it and it builds and saves and you draw on it and use it to offset cost offset increased legal costs in future years. So it's.
Where do we get to draw out? Or when do we get to draw out?
It's built on the behalf of school districts. We don't draw out of it, MASB draws out of it to reduce the legal costs that they pass on in
Okay.
the association, or if we have to hire a lawyer through them, or like that.
So when Anna called Brad,
Brad Banasek.
does that come out of the legal trust fund, or does that come out of our association cost?
It comes out of the legal trust fund, so it's like, well, it's used to reduce the cost. So it's not like they pay all the lawyer's costs out of it.
But that was a MASB lawyer,
Right, but I wouldn't have
wasn't it?
access to calling Brad if you're not part of MASB.
Right.
Yeah.
But is Troon then not able to handle that, where we had to call Brad?
Well, no, they definitely could. I feel like there's sometimes you get more of a board separate attorney than someone that the district has
Like a
hired, right? 'Cause I
specialized?
don't know if I call Katie from Troon, if she gives me advice, the board advice that's specific to helping the district versus Brad, who not necessarily invested in the district at all, just giving his legal advice from a board perspective.
Isn't that the very same issue that we were just discussing with the other group, that we are having redundant attorneys, and it looks like the cost, at least initially for MASB, is much more than Coleman?
That's certainly a valid point.
So if you don't retain your membership in MASB, you will lose the opportunity for those classes. Any legal support that we may need due to an action that the board has taken. So there's that. We're not paying like a retainer fee for them. It's the association, you're in a group, they have different protections or different things that they offer to us to use. Superintendent evaluations and stuff is through MASB, correct?
Mhm.
Yes. So, there's a lot of other things that they support us in, not just legal matters. When you talk about lawyers, there's lawyers that specialize in family law. There's lawyers that specialize in the board processes and things like that. There's lawyers that specialize in Title IX or in employment law, so it just depends on what you get. On behalf of Troon, I would say I have worked with Troon all the years that I've been working for school districts, and I think they do an outstanding job. I have had associations with the other ones at trainings at MSBO, Clark Hill, a couple of the other ones, and I will tell you, when you compare those presentations to the ones that Troon does, There's a vast difference.
But I think the question before us right now is MASB.
Yeah.
Michigan Association of
But
School
what I'm
Boards.
saying is there's always a need for differentiation in your law firms because they may specialize it, and Troon may not specialize in board policy and things. I mean, and they do have policy, but they, in board action and things like that. That's why you call Brad, and
We do have
different
Neola for board
situations.
policy, though, because they,
we do have policy through Neola, yes. Yes.
MASB also advocates for public schools and school boards in Lansing.
Yes.
And so that's where a portion of that membership fee cost comes from.
Right.
forgive me, do we have a motion on the floor for this?
We do not.
Yes, I didn't think so.
Kind of in limbo here.
Yeah.
I certainly think these are all valid concerns, and I know we expressed the exact same concerns last year. And I didn't like the answer then, and I don't like it now. However, it's kind of one of those things that is, I don't want to say necessary for the function, but it allows us to do the things we want and for them to represent us at the district, at the state. But I'll be honest with you, I think that it's a very valid point. The conversation that just occurred with Coleman is the same conversation we're having here. It just doesn't sit too well with me, but I guess we'll see where we go.
I move to renew our membership for the MASB.
Begrudgingly, I second.
Is there any discussion?
Just to keep Dave's evaluation tool, nothing else, I mean.
Appreciate that, thanks.
I made a joke about the $800, but I would have thought that could have come out of that 7374 for 2 weeks ago. That seems a little bit salty.
That's why it's definitely helpful if we want trainings, if we do them, like if you sign up individually, because it's, you don't have travel cost, right? If you can do a virtual training, or like
Two ones that,
where they have to come and yet, they are in person, and
I didn't think we got an option to do a virtual on this one.
we always have an option.
Yeah.
No, I
there's
mean,
always
but
options.
you-
I would say,
But-
but on, a session where we want a trainer to come up, that's separate than a pre-slated training that's available across the state.
Well, she was very good, and she made better money than the lawyers did.
Further discussion on MASB as our, one of our memberships?
I have found them very valuable with their trainings and just going to the different opportunities they offer online to do virtual, just to find out when I first joined, when I first was elected, to go on there and go through all of the different trainings and what was expected of me. It was very enlightening, and it was really good, and I still do it. So I would hate to lose that opportunity.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's proceed with a roll call.
Member Dzinski?
No.
Member Hanson?
Aye.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Lawson?
No.
Oh, sorry, Member Hanson? Did I do you?
Well,
You did.
You got him. I think you need Anna.
Just
Oh,
me, I
yes,
think.
sorry.
Aye.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. All right,
And
motion
also-
carries.
Did it, Eric?
Yes.
I believe
Four
it did.
yeses?
Oh, I thought I heard a third. I thought it was a split again. I'm sorry.
No. All right, then on to the Legal Fund Trust membership billed in July each year to the tune of $292.
Since to do it properly, we should have the motion on the floor before discussion.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could, yes,
Yeah.
certainly.
I move to renew the MASB Legal Trust membership.
Okay,
Support.
all right. Any discussion?
In comparison, that's kind of small amount. I don't know what, is there a percentage, Mary, that, I mean, we're throwing,
I don't know how they run it or,
okay,
you
I
know, what they,
didn't know if anybody had that. Could be a good
I
Ponzi
can
scheme.
find out. I mean, we can ask.
That's a small amount in comparison, but
Any further discussion? Hearing none, even though it's a small amount, it's spending money, we'll do a roll call.
Member Hanson?
Aye.
Member MacArthur?
aye.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Meinhardt?
Aye.
Member Dzinski?
No.
Member Lawson?
No. Motion carries. So well, we'll move us along to School Equity Caucus to the tune of $1,125, billed in March of each year. Is there a motion to renew this membership?
Dave, can you tell us the value of this one, please?
What, do we want to get a motion before?
Yep. Yeah, I think sometimes when things are agenda items, you know, it's all right to discuss them a little bit, but AJ's suggestion is certainly great, yes. It's good to have a motion on
Very
the
good,
floor as well.
understood.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Support.
all right. Discussion at this point?
So to answer your question, the value is that they are advocating on behalf of public schools, primarily around school finance, coming up with equitable finance, and we've personally benefited from their work around transportation. You know, the disparity in funding. I always use my example in my previous school district, which was 2 square miles, and we bused 0 students. We received the same foundation allowance as Alpena Public Schools does at 604 square miles, busing about 1,200 students each day, driving over 3,000 miles a day. And there was no recognition until about 3 or 4 years ago, from the state of Michigan. School Equity Caucus was paramount in making that change in Lansing. And so there's other things. Me personally, they send very good updates on when things happen in Lansing, and it's very understandable. They offer conferences and sessions that I can go and attend. But truly, the benefit to us is that they're advocating on our behalf.
So essentially, they're a lobby group then, because they're not an action group?
I think that's the right term.
They do lobby, they do research into funding and how it affects different schools and things like that. You know, just for an example, in the one presentation I did, Bloomfield Hills, I think, was sitting at $13,000 per student. You know, so it's that equity that, or inequity, that they work to help level things out. One of the things also is the isolated districts, which gives districts that are isolated a little bit of extra money so that their staff can attend conferences and stuff to help offset that cost for us to travel, or for people to travel from the UP or Beaver Island or Bois Blanc or Mackinac, or you know, places like that. It gives them, those districts, a little bit of extra money to help offset the added expense of things like that. So that was one of the things that they fought for too. But they do a lot of research into inequities and different, you know, comparing Michigan to different states and like that.
And so we've received, what, $530,000 a year for transportation, above and beyond.
But I think it's important to say this group isn't what gave that money. This group is there to lobby for that. You know, I think it's just an important differentiation there to, you know, give them credit for the money versus lobbying for that. very, very different thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any further questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, let's have a roll call on that one, too.
Nope. Did we get a we did?
Yes, we do have a motion and a second, yes.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, it's always good to check.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Meinhardt?
Aye.
Member Dzinski?
Aye.
Member Hanson?
No.
Member Lawson?
Aye. Motion carried. That brings us next to Northern Michigan Schools Legislative Association, $991 paid in September of each year. And, I was just thinking, we'll look at Robert's rules, but I think when the board feels it needs information to make an appropriate motion or to understand the motion, I think it's appropriate to discuss beforehand, but it's always good. Thank you for being our Robert's rule.
Don't give me that. I just go off of what was kind of drilled into me, and that's.
Yes. No, that's good. All right, so that is, the recommendation would be to renew this membership as well.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, discussion.
You want to elaborate, Dave?
Yeah, so as I put in my update, in this group I do meet with at least monthly, and the same idea, it's a lobbyist who's advocating on Northern Michigan schools' behalf. And so not only are they there doing that work, but also they put me in touch as a superintendent with a lot of people that I wouldn't necessarily have access to. Most recent example I shared in my update was Representative DeBoer.
Where was he out of? I didn't know.
It's a she, and she's out of Holland, and she is the head of whatever committee was responsible for moving the snow day or ice storm day forgiveness forward to the whole House. So I was able to jump on a meeting with her, a virtual meeting with her, and explain what happened in Alpena. And again, I wouldn't necessarily have that access to her, and that worked out well for us. And then monthly, they always have some representative from the state of Michigan. They are almost always Northern Michigan representatives, but sometimes they pull in others. And again, it's always around advocating for Northern Michigan schools.
I'm just wondering why you're not able to personally call them. We need to have a group of lobbyists to be able to talk to them, is what this, it's like almost like that's what for almost $1,000 to have another group to be able to get a hold of a representative.
They know the system, they have the relationships with the representatives. Yes, I could call. Ken Cabot is very receptive, and I do speak to him on a regular basis, not a regular basis, but if I call, he's very responsive. My reach doesn't go down into the other areas of the state, and that's where this group has those relationships.
Any further discussion?
And I would just say, yes, I could go to Lansing as well, but we're going to eclipse travel costs of $991 very quickly.
Well, I mean, like a phone call or a Zoom meeting, though. I mean, a lot of the representatives should be able to get a hold of, I mean.
Should.
I mean, I guess unless we have to pay them to talk to you.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I think the value is, David Ladd, who's the head of this group, has been doing this for years. He's there daily, and he knows the people, and he knows their staff, and knows their, likes, dislikes, and tendencies, and those sorts of things.
I think as my experience in this area has been when a lobbyist is the embodiment of a group, that person often they take the call faster, and it carries a little more weight.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All right, roll call on this one as well.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Meinhardt?
Aye.
Member Dzinski?
No.
Member Hanson?
Aye.
Member Lawson?
Aye. Motion carried. All right, so that takes care of district memberships. Now we have item I, which is to appoint a board member as the AMA ESD liaison and an alternate liaison recommendation to appoint a regular and an alternate liaison. Would anybody like to volunteer for this?
I'll do it.
Yeah? Sarah?
Yeah.
Anybody want to volunteer to be a alternate?
Sure.
Okay.
Who is doing this currently? Do we,
I think I'm the alternate.
oh, do you want your spot? I'm sorry,
Nope.
AJ?
Nope, I'm good. I got moved here. I'm good.
Okay.
Well, given that, I would move to appoint Sarah Fritz and Anna Meinhardt as the AMA ESD liaison. Oh, I'm sorry. Sarah Fritz as the AMA ESD liaison and Anna Meinhardt as the alternate liaison. Unless you two want to switch, I don't really care.
Support.
Second.
All right, very good. Any discussion? Hearing none, a show of hands for support, yes? Any opposed? Motion carried. Very good. Thank you, both of you. MASB voting delegates. We have a motion, recommended motion, to appoint the board president, vice president, and treasurer as the MASB voting delegates.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Anna, did you ever have to vote on anything on this one?
Nope.
I didn't.
Maybe if I would have attended the, there's something, an email I can pass on to Eric too, but no, I never attended any of the sessions in person.
In Lansing?
Yeah, in Lansing.
Okay,
yeah.
that's where that happens.
Yeah, I think if that group particularly went to the conference,
Yeah.
there'd probably be a particular meeting where they would vote on things. So
Okay.
that option is always there. If we're going to pay them, we might as well go have our say. It'd be
Just
interesting.
remember, you only get $8.50 for your meal.
$9. and what is it, Mary? $9.75?
$9.
I got $9.75.
$9.70.
Buy a carrot.
Not everybody's as hungry as you, Eric.
All right. Let's see. Yes, we just had a motion and
Yes, we-
support on that. Very good. Further discussion? No further discussion. Show of hands in support of the motion? Yes. All right. Any opposed? Motion carries. That will be our voting delegate team. Old business. We have the 2025 Code of Conduct to look at. The recommendation from administration is to approve the 2025 to 2026 Code of Conduct.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion on the Code of Conduct? All right, hearing none. All in favor of the motion to approve the Code of Conduct, raise your hand. Any opposed? Doesn't look like it. Motion carried. Thank you. So that takes care of that. Now we have the handbooks, and they can be all lumped into one motion to approve, or if somebody needs to pull something to discuss, that's fine too.
I know at our last workshop, we did say we could approve this while waiting to talk about the cell phones. Is that what we were gonna? Okay.
And I think we discussed cell phone, addressing it 2 months in advance of the second semester.
Well, I know, but we were gonna talk about the junior high lunch. I thought that was
Yeah,
kind of.
Katie is here, if you want to.
Did we want to maybe do that and see what she has to say and do
Yes.
that if we have to?
Yes, Katie, if you would like to
Catering,
come
Colin.
address that
Catering.
question. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
What questions do you have?
When we were talking about the cell phone policy, we had questions about removing the cell phone use at lunchtime for the junior high. Does that seem to be a problem there?
So lunchtime cell phone use is not a problem. A lot of our issues with cell phones come from Snapchat and cell phone use in the evening, and then kids come to school amped up because of issues that were arising when they were in social media or using their cell phones 9 times out of 10 out of school hours. Our cell phone issues don't typically come from something that happened at lunchtime cell phone use, and they are not allowed in the classrooms or in our hallways before school, during passing time, or after school.
They are allowed to be on them, though, at lunchtime, correct?
They're allowed to be on them at lunchtime. When in the lunchroom, because students eat lunch and then they have the opportunity to go outside. Many students do that. A lot of them, even at the junior high level, call it recess. And so they're outside playing basketball, football, just hanging out with their friends. They also can go to the media center and utilize that space or stay in the cafeteria. So most of the time our students are interacting with other kids at lunchtime.
So then there would be really no incentive to have the cell phones at lunchtime.
There are some students that do use their cell phones. Mhm. I think that would be a question I would pose to the students.
Eric, if you don't mind me asking you, I know at our workshop you did say that there were concerns that you know personally from cell phone use at lunchtime.
Well, we had quite a conversation about this last time, and you weren't here, and that's, just one of the questions that came up, as we looked at the grade school versus the junior high versus the high school, there's differences in the cell phone policy. And, as a district took on the no cell phones in the classroom, we noticed an improvement in disciplinary actions. And my concern, I guess, is, as we're getting onto high school, of course, there's more leeway, there's more, freedoms that are associated with that. And as, at the junior high, I have one, so I can certainly, and I also work with many of these young guys on the football team, so I know them well. They'll probably get after me for even bringing this up, but most of them won't watch this anyway, so I guess we'll be okay. But my concern is, do they really need to be on it that much? That the developmental stages at this age group is adolescence moving on. I have to wonder, and again, we talked about this, we don't have the data to really support it, which is why we want to readdress it, actually look at the data, in the coming months, but I do have concerns. Why is it necessary? These kids don't need to be on Snapchat, because that's what it is. I talk to them, they're on Snapchat nonstop. So why are we doing that when they're in an educational setting? I have to beg the question. There's some districts that have taken a 0 cell phone policy. I'm not proposing that. But at this age group, I have to wonder if it is appropriate. And so we had requested, you weren't here, so forgive me, I know you kind of got blindsided, but we had requested that some of that information be obtained over the coming months and then readdressed prior to semester. But we wanted to ask you those questions. It's a tough thing, what's the problem? Well, the problem isn't necessarily just disciplinary, it's cognitive development, it's social development, there's a whole lot of other things that go with it, as you guys are well aware. And so I've rambled on here, but I think there's a lot more information that we need to obtain, and I have to question whether or not it's necessary at that age group, that's all.
Absolutely.
My understanding is there is emerging data on this question, because a lot of people are looking at this. So I think it would be quite appropriate to would we say, 2 months before the next semester?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we talked about.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea to revisit this.
Were we doing that at the junior high? I know we were doing that for the high school. I thought we were kind of separating them, though, or no?
I would certainly like to see the data at the junior high as well, because it is a very different population.
Yeah, if you
We
want
have
to
our cell phone
know.
data. I did bring it, just.
Okay.
Katie,
Yeah, in
would you
case.
be able to police this? Or is this something?
At lunchtime?
At lunchtime, are you thinking, oh my goodness, this is,
So there's a variety of questions. So in the classroom, it's very easy to police, right? And I'm going to say that maybe it's not very easy because there's one teacher and there may be 28 students in the classroom, and a student can hide something under the desk. But we have a cell phone policy in place that works at the junior high. It's been there for as long as I can remember. Even when I was a teacher back 8 years ago, cell phones were not allowed in the classroom. And so the change that we made when I came on board was the process of how we get the cell phones down to the office before the teacher would take it, and that's a liability for the teacher. And so instead, we have the student come down to the office with their cell phone to turn it into the safe, so that way the student is the one putting it in the safe room, or just putting it on the counter to ensure that they feel like their property is being respected and put in a safe area. And then we call parents. Students call parents on the first offense. We call parents on the second offense, and parents have to come pick up the phone. And on the third offense, it's a cell phone plan, and students ultimately should not be bringing their phones to school at that point if they reach the third offense status.
And, maybe this is more for a workshop meeting, because, we're kind of a lot coming out here, but, we say that the cell phone policy is working. I have to, from a disciplinary standpoint, I understand that it is, but is it working? I have to beg the question, because we thought it was working at the high school until we took them away, then we saw improvements. Across the country, there's a lot of data coming out that there are significant improvements in education. And, as the board, what we should be focusing on is student outcomes, as we talked about. And unfortunately, our data in this age group is that transition through junior high. These are the low points. And so maybe that's something, a low-hanging fruit that we need to look at. And so we certainly need to have further discussion, but I don't think this is the time or the place for that. But, so thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And so we can, approve it now with the understanding that we would be addressing this later in the year. Then at the workshop, we can talk about what kind of data you'd like to see, and we can pull that data pretty readily.
Yep.
And then go from there. And I think the board has, you could certainly open the handbook up again, whether there's a note on this night or not. If we need to make an update, we can make an update.
If the board did decide, like, no cell phones at the junior high at all, do you feel like that would be hard to enforce, or do you feel like that would be a kind of a sense of relief? Like, this is, the board took the action, it's not on the administration. Do you?
So, it's still on us to make the phone calls.
Yep.
So it's, yes, we can lean on the board, but it's also the parents that are the ones giving the phones. So, they're the ones that we have to call to address when we take the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, easier to lean on the board and say, hey, that we're following our policy. Parents sometimes don't care about the policy. How's that?
Yeah, understandable.
Don't we also have to look at what Stephanie brought out at the meeting? Some students have their cell phones for if they're diabetic, because that lose their sugar, if they have a mental health issue and they can get in touch, or they're having an emergency at home, then we would have to make some sort of accommodation for that if we decided to go down this road.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think, too, when you're looking at cell phones, right now, students are not allowed to have them in any part of their day except for lunch. So if we're saying that they're not allowed to have them at lunch, then what would be the point of them having a cell phone in school? And so then you're looking at a school-wide, like, you're not allowed to have your cell phone at all. So then if we see a cell phone in a pocket, is that a consequence? So there's a lot of questions that go along with those decisions that I think would need to be flushed out as the board is having those conversations.
I would just have to go with Eric Hansen on this one. 99% of them don't need it.
At the end of the day, 90% of them have them. It's unbelievable to me how many students have cell phones.
Yeah, I'm thinking of my two that are in that age bracket, and they love to play on it if they get their hands on one, but it's not constructive in any way.
Especially when we're only beginning to see the data on the true effects of this, in cognitive development, social development, critical thinking, advent of AI. I mean, this is a whole gamut of things, and there's not an easy answer. There absolutely is not, but these are tough things that require tough conversations that we need to address.
Absolutely, and I think
Yeah.
parent education would be excellent if that's something that we can tap into as a school system, because allowing students to have social media can have a lot of negative consequences that sometimes parents don't even realize until we're making the phone call and their student saw something on Snapchat the night before. So that's definitely something, if we can provide education to our community and to our families just about that. We do that in the school system with students and have Trooper Kunith come in. He's our community state police officer, or does community lessons and teaches our students about safeties online and talks about different consequences and ensuring that they're making sure that they're speaking with people that are appropriate. So just as we're a school district, continued education is the most important, not only for our students, but our community.
Yes, thank you very much. Are there other questions or issues with the handbooks before we proceed?
Do we have a motion on the floor to approve all of
I
them?
don't think we did yet.
Okay, I didn't know if we'd lumped them together, or...
No, I think we were just sort of exploring that, since we've talked about
Yeah, and
that
then
one
Monica
question.
got us off into the
Yeah.
cell phone.
Sorry.
Thanks, Monica. I move to approve the handbooks for the 25-26 school year. There.
Is there support or a second?
That was the other thing.
Okay.
Support.
All right, support from Anna. At this point, is there further discussion of the approval of the 2025-26 mini student parent handbooks?
One area that we brought up last time, and just to kind of circle around on it, is dress code. And we actually, in my opinion, I felt that the policy was actually pretty good. It's the enforcement aspect of it in the schools, which is difficult, I understand, but there are policies and there's expectations and challenges with that. And I believe we had discussed having a letter from the board to the community.
Correct.
And I was just wondering where we are with that process before.
Sure. I did start drafting a letter and had Romeo and Katie on the Google Doc too, and I didn't want to finish it up and with knowing that the, presidential role here would be changing. So I have a draft that I will turn over to you, and I've
Okay.
shared it with Katie and Romeo and Dave, and so you can take over on that.
Okay, we'll take a look. Would the board like to see that at some point before we?
I think it would be appropriate, and, there are policies on, and, as the question was posed here, it makes it a lot easier on our administrators, knowing that the policy initiated with us, and so we can be the bad guy. As you can see, we're quite used to being the bad guy, and so this is not a problem. And so we'll put that out to the community that, there are policies in place and should be enforced as such.
I would think that would be an appropriate workshop topic
Yeah.
next time?
Yep, and then we can publish it. It's 2 weeks in front of or a week before students come back, so that'd be pretty good timing.
And Romeo had also shared with me what he had sent to the high school families for their update about dress code. So he has communication that he's been sending as well. So he can probably pass that along to you as well.
Yes, that would be good perhaps for us to be able to echo things that they have already heard from him.
Yep.
Yeah, very good, thank you. Anything further on handbooks? Hearing no further comments, show of hands, all in favor of approving the handbooks. All right. That looks to be unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you very much. This is, next one is to consider the MHSAA membership resolution to adopt the preamble and resolution for the 2025-26 membership.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
All right, very good. Discussion? No? All right, since it's a resolution, let's go ahead and have a roll call on that.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Meinhardt?
Aye.
Member Dzinski?
Aye.
Member Hanson?
I believe I need to abstain from this vote.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Lawson?
Aye. Motion carries. All right, thank you. Moving along. Oh, Human Resources. Hello. All right. Go ahead.
All right, we have our Human Resources report. We have new hires. Judy Peacock is an instructional assistant at Hanks. We have resignations of Rita Gould, special education teacher, Chris Moore, an elementary music teacher, Denise Klingman is a utility B at central office, and Angela Mahan, special education teacher at Ella White. And then we have a couple of retirements. Judy Urick is special education teacher at Hanks with 2 years of service. Donald Schultz, a custodian at central office at 7 years. And Teresa Kondrowski, instructional assistant at Besters for 7 years. So just thank you to everyone with their years of service with us. Thank you.
All right.
How
Thank
did your
you.
job fairs go?
We had 8 in attendance, and we've hired 6 already.
Oh, great.
We do have a whole list of them that will be coming next month. They just haven't totally cleared yet. So next month you'll have a bigger list.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, administrative recommendation is to approve the hiring of the new certified staff after proper completion, or after completion of proper certification testing and other HR requirements.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
All right, any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of hiring the aforementioned staff, show of hands, yes. Any no? No? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. This brings us to our next opportunity for citizens or delegations to address the board.
Ryan French, Alpena. First of all, I want to focus on a positive. I want to thank Tate Skiba for his amazing job with the boys and girls golf team. My wife Stephanie and I are proud to be able to support both teams through our drive for the future foundation that helps underserved high school golf teams across the country. The golf team was an important part of my career at AHS, and we're lucky to be able to give back. It's hard to remember these positives as this community watches certain members of this school board continue to put their political views before budgets, teachers, principals, and most importantly, students. While I appreciate the board as a whole doing the correct thing in voting common law firm down, it is still concerning that 3 members of this board voted to approve them despite the facts laid out. They have almost zero experience in schools. They haven't gotten back in a timely manner. They would charge $275 an hour. Although they would be maybe cheaper than Thune per hour, literally 1 minute prior to this vote, the members voted to retain Thune. So the $275 would be in addition to, not in place of. It's not cheaper at all. These are the members who haggled over $10 in lawn care bids. And it continues a trend of these members not listening to experts, communities, teachers, and students about what is best in this school district. Again, let me be clear. No matter how you feel about the views of Kelman, my concern is about the process itself. I would be concerned if members of the board who aligned more closely to me politically tried to vote in a second law firm unnecessarily. And I would be making the same speech if members that aligned with my own political views made decisions based on Google searches instead of trusting experts in specialized fields. I ask the board to listen to all these speeches, read the letters to the editor, go to PTA meetings, teacher union meetings, and understand that a large majority of this community is very frustrated with the direction of this board. And I'll remind you that your job is to serve the community, and I hope next school year the board can get back to that.
I'm Yvonne LaFave Johnson. I still live in Alpena Township. I'm heartened that you renewed Troon Law's contract and did not engage the Coleman Legal Group for fiscal year 2025-26. I'm disheartened by the later conversations about the roles that Troon and other organizations such as MASB serve on behalf of the district. The efforts to muddy the waters and to somehow suggest that Troon is incompetent or not serving the district well do not go unnoticed. Clearly, we as a community want you to drop the extremist agenda that puts our students and their education at risk. We're watching. We will continue to watch. We will continue to speak up and continue to hold you accountable.
Anybody else? Seeing no further public comment, we'll continue. Information and proposals. Any letters or communications? Yes. Go ahead, Summer.
Okay. This is from Tim Marquardt, sorry. I am writing, can everybody hear me?
That's better.
I am writing to voice my support for the board in its endeavor to bring common sense back to our public schools. A conservative view of getting back to the basics of education and eliminating silly radical ideology. Thank you. Link the trans, scam, and DEI. These do not belong in our schools. Any staffer that attempts to our kids with these ideologies needs to be suspended for their employment terminated. Focus on the subjects, more advertising of our strong CTE department, make U.S. history mandatory, starting at the elementary level and continue into junior high and then into high school. It is good to see improvements to the high school grounds, finally. Thank you for your efforts. It is still necessary to listen to opposing viewpoints, but do not be bullied by radical left efforts. Stand your ground. It is my suspicion that the vast majority of parents in our district believe in a more conservative approach. I'm sure the last national election proved as much. God bless you. The next one is from Joanne Pinkerton. Thank you, Alpena School Board, for caring about the student education and safety of Alpena schools. You were elected by the majority of voters in Alpena County to fix the failing grades that APS should receive. It is about time illiteracy rates, test scores, truancy, and unsafe locker rooms and shower policies were addressed. Ignore the bullying and underhanded personal attacks against yourselves, your families, and your businesses that the administration, teachers, and certain other groups in the Alpena area throw at you. They are failing the students with stats that 70% of sixth graders can't read proficiently and that only 31% of eighth graders are reading at or above proficiency. Only 33% of fourth graders are proficient. If I were grading Michigan test scores, I would give them an F. The majority voters in Alpena County voted you in because Alpena schools are failing. The majority of voters in Alpena want you to hold teachers accountable for these failures. Thank you for caring about the students, parents, and taxpayers in Alpena County.
That it? Nothing on your end, Dave, in terms of other communications? Okay. Then that brings us to reports and information from the superintendent and staff. Your update.
All right, I won't. I'll simply mention things that are coming up, not the amount of days until they take place. But our principal team, those that are not year-round principals, do return this Wednesday. So that's a big day that we've been preparing for, and it's the kickoff of the 25-26 school year season. New teacher orientation is on the 14th and 15th of August, and then all staff does report on the 18th. And then students' first day is the 25th. And I did just go over this with my son. That is 4 weeks still left of summer vacation. So bond work is on schedule. Again, if you haven't been by, take a look. It's changing dramatically on a daily basis over there. And then I have a weekly update meeting with them again on Wednesday. Having missed last week with being out of the district. Our principal position at Lincoln is posted, and when I wrote this, we had 4 applicants. I think we're up to 6 or 7 at this point, so we are getting some interest there. Wish the best of everything to Ms. Grondin and her family. She was a tremendous asset to Alpena Public Schools, and we will miss her dearly. And then just when we do meet with the principals on Wednesday, we are doing a deep dive into Pillars 1 and 2, focusing on teacher clarity, PBIS, and student achievement data. And that's sort of setting the tone for everything that comes for the school year coming up here. So we are heading into next school year, but still lots of summer left to enjoy.
All right. Thank you very much, Dave. Information and questions from board members.
I messed up and I did not respond to Ms. Cortman. Did that get covered?
I believe it has been covered. Yeah, I think Sarah and Anna and I are doing those
The reinstatement hearing?
reinstatement hearings, August 1st and 2nd, I
Okay.
believe. Is that right? 1st and 2nd?
Friday and,
Or the 1st and the 5th? Okay, thank you.
First and the fifth, yeah.
Thank you,
And
yes.
it's all covered.
okay. Curiosity question on that. It's in our policy that members have to be there, but if the one that I did this winter, they stated that they don't ever turn somebody down for a reinstatement. There was in a conversation that's not that typically doesn't happen. So I was curious what the purpose of having the board there. It wasn't like it was a vote or anything. So,
Yeah.
sure, come on
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Matt, if you'd like to come address that, thank you.
That's not the truth, really. And and again, for many of us who've been doing this for a while, unfortunately, but it's one of those things. It's basically a scripted process that we go through. We collaborate afterwards. We don't tell the family and folks at that point.
Right.
We collaborate, make a decision. Quite often, there's stipulations that are on it, depending on a lot of things, but primarily the results of the parents and the students from the meeting. And then from there, we notify them within 24 hours and let them know what the expectations are. And they can be, it's a wide breadth, but there's some, their only option may be to go to online. That might be their option. Maybe it's coming back to school, maybe it's coming back with limitations, maybe they can't attend dances. I mean, there's all sorts of things that go with it. But online does give us that buffer where if those students, if we don't think that they're set and ready to return to school, they can return to school in an alternate setting, which in that case would be online, APS online. Some take us up on it, some don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say I've never been in one where we've said you can't come back, it's been declined, but there's, pivot, they've been sure, because we have to provide an education, but what level of education might it be? So it's been, where you talk about afterwards, whether they can go to ACES or pivot and come up with a plan of, they can come back, but the stipulation is no backpack or, something like that, so.
And every one of them's unique. If they were candid, it'd be one thing. Every single one of them is unique.
I'm sure.
Depending on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think the board members have the most input probably in that process that was discussed about, under what conditions they come back and how that's to be done. And board members also contribute to the discussion with the students themselves.
Okay.
And I think it's a positive process. I think everybody's really, I think we've had, I would hope, generally good outcomes.
We have the majority of them, not all of them, but the majority of them are, they result in good outcomes. And we try to update you later on, because it's always a question, how'd they do?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, and unfortunately, usually you learn pretty quick. But the ones who want to give it a go, they've truly changed, and a lot of them, they realize where they are and that the next option is coming to see the superintendent again. And the second time, those meetings are, you know, usually pretty quick. And usually there's a tone that comes out of that, so. So, and honestly, thank you, because I know we have a couple long days coming up, and I appreciate your patience, and, you know, we'll get through it. So.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
All right.
So go ahead, AJ.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
Last 2 weeks ago during our workshop, the comment was made, and it's actually been made several times in our book study, about a safe place to discuss things. You know, this is a safe time to discuss things. And it wasn't 24 hours, and what was in discussion was already slapped back in the board's face via an email. And then again tonight, public comment time. So I really find that comment, not against you, Anna, but just seems almost to be a joke to say that. And it's disappointing how stifling that is.
Yeah, and I guess I meant it amongst us, like reminder the rest of us, like,
yeah,
you should be able to say what you want without me attacking you or vice versa. What, you know, people listening do, I obviously have no control over, but.
No, I just, my comment to the presenter 2 weeks ago about it there being a sword ready at any and all times is, I think, a very accurate statement.
That's certainly an accurate assessment. You know, I mean, Open Meetings Act, everything we do is public, which is, that's the way it is, and that's okay. We have the workshops, which are supposed to be more informal and where we can bounce ideas off each other. We can discuss things, we can have open conversation, and then we have this meeting, which is where we vote on things. And the challenge is now, it is a point where it is very difficult to have open conversation and discuss ideas because of those reasons, and that's the nature of it. It is what it is, but yeah, I echo your thoughts. There is no safe place. And I think some people think we have discussions behind closed doors. That does not happen. We discuss nothing outside of this room. And so that's, it is challenging, and I think it does stifle some conversation, you know, because, I mean, it's okay to have different viewpoints and discuss it one way or the other. So I agree with AJ on that. While we're on the questions and comments from board members, two things I would like to, I guess, request as we move forward. And it was brought up in that workshop as well. I thought it was quite wonderful. Actually, I thought it was great training. Brought up great points of view. But I would like to see, as we move forward on the board agenda, a component for development of, let's say, board governance, if you will, where we start to take a component of each monthly agenda and develop a orientation process, or you know, how the process of the board works. We have policy, but to actually discuss these things and work how the, you know, it's Dave making suggestions to us, and I'm not in a bad way, Dave, but it's still the board's responsibility to implement these things, and if we're not talking about them from our standpoint, and through the book study, the other thing that it bring out, and we'll be talking about that at the next workshop, is the development of goals, which are shared with the district and the board, but that's one area that I don't really feel as though the board was able to establish the goals accordingly, and we're trusting the process. Dave, I talked about this. I'm waiting for you to get that information before we really dig into that, so we're trusting that, but I think as we move forward that those are good discussion points that maybe we can dedicate a small portion of the agenda to that as we move forward. Yeah. And then the other thing that's in the book report, or the book study, and I think it's a fantastic thing, and unless we put the boots to the road, if you will, is actually discussing student outcomes a little bit more, and because we talk about a lot of stuff, and there's business that has to get done. We understand that, and although I don't agree with everything in that book, I think that having discussions about student outcomes is certainly important, and with certain community members shared those points. You know, they're bringing up data, and I think if anyone's honest, those aren't great numbers. And so, we really do need to have those discussions. They're going to be hard discussions, but we need to have them. And so I think that as we move forward, and Eric, I guess I kind of look to you at this, is can we develop that into the agenda moving forward? That's just a request on my behalf.
Yes, let me take both those in pieces. I think the goals development part will come very organically out of our discussions of the strategic plan, and as we go forward, that would be my understanding. And I think we're going to get to that point where I think we had this discussion where if we're looking at particular maybe subsets of our student population, we will say, this subset of the student population will realize gain of X percent in this area, in this period of time. And so I think as that, and that seems to be, I think, what you're kind of looking for is some of those very concrete goals. Okay, I think that will come very naturally, and if it doesn't, we'll make sure that we're refocusing to make sure we get there. The first point, I wonder if it wouldn't be useful then to just take some of the board governance policies and just have a review. The mental health board I'm on, we have every meeting we have a review of a couple of policies. Sometimes we just review them and say, hey, do we like this policy still? And another one we might look at and say, hey, let's self-evaluate. Are we really following this policy? Is that kind of what you're talking about?
To a point, sorry, that was a little loud. To a point, yes. But, one of the points that was brought up is we lack like a formal orientation process. And so when you hire into a new position or a new board or anything, having clear expectations of what your responsibilities are, and then facilitating that. I understand there are self-taught classes. We can sign up for those. However, it's still the organization's responsibility to facilitate an orientation process for those that are coming on board. Any business does that, or if they certainly should if they don't, to bring the members up to speed. And so that's not something that's part of what we do, and I think the development of that would be very helpful for everyone.
I think I've got it. I think I've got you now. So maybe also in looking at some of the policies regarding the board's governance and whatnot, but also maybe as we look at powers and responsibilities that the board has, that some of those are in statute, but some of them are in our policies as well. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Certainly part of it, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. I think that's certainly possible.
Yeah, and Eric and I had talked about that before, and then Kelly had brought it up at our training, and I think Monica, you and I even talked about it too, just forming even a committee of 3 to come up with some sort of formal orientation packet or material that could be used anytime a new board member comes on. It'd be helpful for someone who's been on the board a while, maybe Dave to be on it, someone who's been on the board, and then newer board members who are like, it would have been really helpful to know X, Y, Z, because we don't really have an onboarding process. I think our policy says to meet with Dave, all new board members meet with Dave, and he does that, but that's more of a superintendent meet and greet, talk about his strategic plan or whatever it is, not necessarily a true orientation. So
we do have an orientation in the bylaws. It's just we're not doing it. So I think if we look at it and then figure out what we want to take out or add, because there is already one there.
But that just says the board encourages an orientation process, and the superintendent, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and then I think log in for Neola, I'm supposed to get all the contracts.
there's certain-
all that, and I never received any of that.
So that's the point of this. Obviously, we don't need to flesh this out now, but as we move forward, if we can start to address some of these things, I think it would be very helpful for the district in the long run, even after we're all gone, so.
Yeah, indeed. So maybe beginning of that process is Dave and I can look at the bylaws and talk about what we've had in place, and then talk about where that might go, and if it gets to the point where we want to form a committee to flesh the process out further, we can do that. But I would say we could get on that pretty quick. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, great. Is there further board comment, question, or information? Hearing none, I would just like to have a round of applause and thanks to Anna for her work as president. I know it's a big job, and so I'm very grateful to you for what you've done up to this point. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for stepping in.
If there's no further comments, questions, information from board members, who would like to read charitable gifts?
I'm happy.
Sure. Oh,
Go ahead,
no, you
Eric,
got
you got
it.
it. Go ahead, all you.
All right, Drive for the Future generously donated $700 to the support of students of AAHS Boys Golf Team. Drive for the Future generously donated $700 to support the students of the AHS Girls Golf Team. Bev Maker donated a beautiful American Eagle patriotic statue valued at $50 to Ella White Eagles students. Monica Dzinski donated a desk lamp, microwave, 2 camping chairs, 2 first aid kits valued at $132.69 as prizes for the AHS Senior Night. Not as good as Eric, but there it is.
Very good.
I would entertain a motion. Oh, you would entertain a motion.
Yes, is there a motion to accept the gifts listed above with gratitude and thank the donors in writing for the generous gifts?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, a show of hands, all in favor of the motion? All right, doesn't look like there are any opposed. Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, this brings us to advanced planning. August 18th, we have the monthly board workshop, which is here, same bat time, same bat channel. August 25th, the regular board meeting here as well. August 25th, also the, dare I say it, first day of school.
Go for it.
September 15th, our monthly board workshop and board visitation a couple days later at Hinks and Besser. And I would imagine we'll be getting in touch with folks to ask you to save the date and confirm. And then the 22nd of September, the regular board meeting. And with that, our agenda is complete, and we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all very much.
Yeah. I think it's the 11th, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. What's
Yeah, it's incorrect in here.
Okay. September 11th, board visitation, not the 17th.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Anyway, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I've got my little.
What is your pleasure for meeting
What?
in advance of meetings?
I'll still help as much as I can, like checking agendas and stuff. I'll
Yeah,
try to like
phone
stay on top
calls
of things,
mostly.
yeah.
But,
I get to town a lot, and I don't know, phone calls are.
no, in person is fine.
Yeah, that's maybe easier. What have you been doing? Just kind of whenever?
You know, so we share it with the president and vice president on Wednesday and of the week prior, and then, you know, share it with the board on Friday. So, really, the week I guess the Friday 2 weeks before, if that works. So
Friday, let's see, so that's August. Have you been having a meeting each for the workshop and the regular meeting?
yeah, not necessarily a meeting, just, you know, and we, again, phone calls, trade texts about what's on the agenda.
Sure.
So,
Let's see. So if, you said the Friday. Friday the week before?
so if we're meeting on the 18th, the draft usually goes to the president and vice president on the 13th, the Wednesday. So really Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we can change that process as well. But we like to share the agenda with the board by Friday before any of the meetings. So, you know, maybe.
Maybe we could do, do you want to do like the Friday before, to just kind of do a quick meeting to just say, here's what we were looking at for agenda items, and then if there's anything maybe that you weren't expecting or planning on, that gives you some time to tinker. And then we would then meet again with the vice president on that following Wednesday, and then everything shared with the following Friday.
Yep.
Okay.
So meet on the 8th, we got a week before the draft goes out.
That sounds good.
Okay. The only hitch is I'm going to be out of the district on the 8th.